As you know, the world is screaming at the kids around you, trying to get their attention, and they're winning. But is there something you could do to make sure that in everything your kids see, the kids in your life, that Jesus is there too? Today I'm going to sit down with Beth Thomas, and I think there might be an answer for this. Welcome to what I think is going to be the finest episode ever of Unscripted, the show brought to you by the good people who work at the Adventist Review. And the reason I'm excited, I'm Shawn Boonstra, I'm your host today, but my guest is Beth Thomas, who is an assistant editor and the managing editor of
KidsView.
KidsView. And you weren't actually Beth Thomas when I first met you.
No, I was Beth Jensen.
Beth Jensen. See, Beth is one of my very, very oldest friends.
We go way back.
We go way back. And actually, we met at an evangelistic campaign 20-some, you're not old enough for that. 20-some years ago
Yeah.
in Denver, Colorado. I was just moving to the U.S., and you and your husband-to-be,
Thank you. Yes,
Jared,
we got engaged.
We were
just
trying to do
before.
the math before the show. It's like, were you married yet? Were you not married? And you weren't.
No, we were not married. We were just engaged. We got married afterwards in June.
And so you were there because there was an evangelistic field school, right? Is that how you guys ended up there?
Exactly.
And you didn't meet there and get engaged there?
No. We have a little bit longer history than that. But no, I went to AFCO as a student.
Right. AFCO, if you're not familiar with it, that was the Amazing Facts College of Evangelism. Right.
Yep. It was actually the first field location that they moved away from California.
Right,
and
I think Mark Finley and Doug Batchelor had set this up in the day and decided to work together on this campaign.
Exactly. So my fiance was a Bible worker with the program, and I actually went through the program.
Yeah, and one of the teachers was better than all the rest, correct?
Absolutely.
I got thrown into teaching, and I'm pretty sure I noticed that my course load got lighter and lighter as the meetings went along.
I wonder why.
Yeah, they just pulled me out of the classroom. Let's not let him do that anymore. That was an interesting meeting. We held that on a college campus, and I do have fond memories. And when I ended up at the review, I instantly I know. Well, I've known Beth because I volunteer at GC sessions anyway.
Yep.
And that was an interesting meeting. Any memories from that meeting in particular?
Oh, there are a lot. But one was two ladies that we worked with, and they had to go through quite a series of things to get to the point where they could be baptized. And so seeing their growth, seeing the things that they had to overcome was huge. And when they went down into the water, it was just such an amazing experience. I get teary-eyed thinking of them.
I bet I know who they are. I remember that.
You might. But after Jared and I got married, they are the ones who gave us our kitchen table.
Come on.
No, yeah, it was very cool.
I see what was going on. We baptized people for wedding gifts. That's not true. That's not true.
No, I had to do work on the table for it to be used.
Oh,
so,
yeah. But that's kind. They were showing gratitude. Yeah. That is, I think, the last campaign I ever wore an actual suit at. I quit wearing suits not long after. What had happened is I had a thing for pumpkin pie. I have the victory over it now. But when we were talking about fire comes down from God out of heaven and devours them, Revelation. And at the very end, and we're teaching the fact that devour means they're gone. And I believe I said to people, if you want to know what the word devour actually means, bring me a pumpkin pie tomorrow, and I'll show you what the word devour. I got 11 pumpkin pies, 11, and a can of whipped cream. Yeah,
that's nice.
Didn't grow up in America. I didn't know you could get whipped cream in a can, and Cheese Whiz in a can. Yeah, and I put it in the trunk, and I drove home to where I was staying, and I was being a little too aggressive. I repented this sin. I was driving way too fast, saw my exit, cut across 3 lines, and heard bang in the trunk. The whipped cream exploded.
Wow.
In a rental car, and I'm wearing a black suit. And I went inside the hotel, covered with whipped cream, and it's like, you guys have some towels? Let me tell you what they did at that hotel. They said, just give us the keys. I said, no, I'll clean it. They detailed my car. These young people took it, and they brought me the keys when it was done.
That's amazing.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, now, that's where we met. What about your path into ministry? You're now at the Adventist Review. How does Beth Jensen / Thomas end up at Adventist Review?
That's a long story.
We've got time.
Okay,
great. This is our 5-hour special. It's our telethon.
So my husband was invited to come to the General Conference, and he worked with the Ministerial Association. And when we moved, I knew that there was something I wanted to do to contribute to our family economy. So I have a natural talent, at least at that time, I had a natural talent for editing. And
You do have a talent for editing.
but I wasn't educated in it at that time.
You fix
so.
my work. I know you have a talent for, I edit something and then Beth edits it.
I go back over it for you.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so.
But anyway, so Jared came here.
You love that kind of work.
I love it. Yeah. Ever since I was a child, I would pick out things that were spelled incorrectly or.
Oh, you were that kid.
I know. My favorite book was 10,000 Words You Should Know. Like, I was that kid. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, and I think I was like 10 years old or something.
So would you call out other kids' mistakes in third grade?
Not kids, no, but my dad would ask me to correct his spelling.
No kidding?
Yeah.
Okay. So
He's not the best
a
speller.
natural love for it.
Natural love for it. And so when we moved to Maryland from Michigan, I began to introduce myself to departments within the General Conference, and they were always looking for freelancers and things. So
Yeah.
I started actually with the Review in 2017 as a freelance contractor.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
Well, you're coming up on your decade.
I know, it's going to be 10 years. I can't believe it. But Gerald Klingbeil was a friend of mine from church, and he found out about me wanting to get some more work, essentially. And so he said, we have a position that would be really great for you. So he was the one, and Bill Knott, of course, who helped me get established here. But I loved it. I loved the team. I loved the work. And so that's how I got involved with the Adventist Review.
Okay. Is there ever a moment when you're editing where you realize you've just read 3 paragraphs, but you don't remember what you just read? Do you ever get to that point of tired? I was just like, dark secrets of editors today, folks, on
No,
unscripted.
absolutely. It happened to me today.
Did it
So,
really?
Yeah.
You're probably reading something I wrote. It's easy to zone out.
Yeah, I don't know if I've actually read anything you've written recently.
I can't actually write, folks. No.
No, yours is always very clean.
Okay, what that means, by the way, if an article is clean, it means it doesn't need a lot of editing.
Right.
And they're clean for every other reason, my articles. All right, so you end up at the Adventist Review, but you've got you do a lot of editing, and you have actually caught stuff. I mean, every magazine goes through, I don't know how many sets of eyeballs before it ever goes out the door. And you catch stuff where I'm in amazement. It's like, how did I not see that? It's like, you found that I had written a Bible study for an issue, and it had no subtitle. And I remember the discussion, Shawn needs a subtitle. And I thought, hey, that would be awesome. Not everybody gets a subtitle. They meant the article. Yeah, not me. But hey, if you think of a subtitle for me, be nice. Not Shawn the idiot. That one I've been called many times. I know that's my subtitle. But if you can think of one, hey, maybe we'll start calling me by my subtitle.
Hey, that'd be great.
And I'll come up with one for Beth, and we'll announce it next time she's on. Okay. In all seriousness, in addition to all that, and you have some of the sharpest eyes I know of, you have another major area of responsibility.
I do, yeah. And that's been my responsibility for 3 years.
Uh-huh.
And I love it because I'm passionate about working with kids. I have a long history of being a Sabbath school teacher, adventure leader. I love working with children. So to get this job.
And she has some of her own to practice on.
Yes, I have 2 young adults, basically.
Yeah, they're all grown. How's that possible?
It just happens really quick.
Yeah, you're not old enough to have grown children, Beth.
Well, they're not
You're
completely
welcome.
grown. No. Don't do that to me.
Her children are in their 40s.
I started really young.
No, yeah. I don't think Beth's in her 40s. But anyway, you do love kids, and it shows. And so that put you with...
Yes, so I'm the managing editor for KidsView, which is an awesome little insert in the Adventist Review. And next year we turn 25.
What?
So yeah, it's been around for 25 years.
So that's actually long enough. Let me think about this. That the first wave of KidsView readers might be handing it to their own children at this point.
Absolutely. In fact,
that's cool.
I wasn't even familiar with the KidsView until my kids were in Adventist school, and they brought it home one day, and I said, this is a really awesome resource for the schools to have for kids. So,
well, talk about it. What is KidsView? In case you've been living under a rock, what is KidsView?
So KidsView is an 8-page insert right now. It's also printed standalone.
Okay.
But I'll maybe get into that a little bit later.
So it's inserted into Adventist Review magazine.
Review, yes.
Another reason to sign up for the magazine, folks. You're
Absolutely.
not getting all the KidsView stuff. Or if you're a grandparent, maybe get a subscription. So
Absolutely, yeah. And maybe we can put the information for them to
Yeah.
get a subscription later.
pay attention to the interview, AdventistReview.org, ask your questions there. But, if you're a grandparent and you want to send something your kids will be excited about, your grandkids, this is a good one, KidsView.
Yeah. So KidsView actually started in 2022, and I brought the original copy, yes. And I found this today. I was so thrilled in our archives here. So this is the absolute original, the very first issue of KidsView in September of 2002.
Wow.
And this is actually the most recent copy. So there have been a lot of versions.
This is the current copy, right? This is
current.
May of 26.
This is May of 2026. So
The Elephant That Cried. We need to take a break. I want to read this story. I mean, that sounds good. Okay, tease me a little bit. What's The Elephant That Cried, Beth?
Okay, so this story is actually a retell of a story that Eric B. Hare told.
Legend.
Legend in the Adventist Church for his storytelling. And he tells this story of an adult elephant, a female elephant, that comes to their clinic and receives treatment.
Right, he was in Burma at the time,
He
right?
was, yeah.
Okay. Or
currently
Myanmar.
Myanmar. Yeah. So the elephant came, and they weren't sure if they were going to be able to help the elephant. It had a very large ulcer on this side. Yes, it was about the size of a 5-gallon bucket, I guess.
That's
I don't want to
sad.
give too much away from the story, though.
No, you want to get the magazine and read it, but what's this? A subpoena? Why are you going to? No, I'm kidding. It's not a subpoena.
No, that's just
looks
telling
like your work
what.
notes.
Yeah, no, what our submission requirements are if anyone wants to write for KidsView.
So I got sidetracked with the elephant, the sad elephant story. How much more are you willing to give away? I mean, if you want to find out what happened to the 5-gallon ulcer.
Yeah, you can pick up, you can subscribe to Adventist Review, or if your children attend a school in the North American Division, you'll probably see this story.
Okay, so who is your audience for this? We say KidsView, and honestly, I'm like this. I'm over 30, and well, a little over 30.
Yeah.
I'm the oldest kid working for the Seventh-day Adventist Church, but who's really the audience?
Right. So KidsView is basically the Adventist Review for kids. And actually, I found this editorial by Bill Johnson, who was encouraged when he was going around the camp meeting circuit by a reader who said, when are you going to do the Adventist Review for kids? And so he's like, well, there's already a bunch of Adventist publications that are doing a great job. And she's like, no, you need to do something that is the Adventist Review. That I would just want to read a little bit of what she said. Have you ever thought of starting a kids edition of the Adventist Review? And he said, Adventists already have magazines for children that do a great job. And she said, no, I don't mean another publication that duplicates what's already out there. I mean something that does what the Adventist Review does. Spiritual life, mission, the world church, but puts it at a level that children can understand and appreciate. So that's what KidsView is, and every time we create an issue, that's what I keep in mind. And it's targeted for grades 3 through 6, but we've had from kindergarten up to 8th grade enjoy it in a classroom setting. Yep.
And me.
I love it. Who doesn't love a story?
Well, have you noticed that Jesus always told stories that any child in the room would get, but they were so profound that the Pharisees were getting upset because they were picking up what Jesus was putting down, right? But he always kept it at that level, and Jesus was a storyteller. Exactly. I mean, go back and read your Gospels, read the red letters, and see how much of it is narrative, how much of it is story, parables. And I've always appreciated that it felt to me like Jesus had even the children in the room in mind, because they could pick up the parable of the sower. Oh, my dad's a farmer. I got that.
Exactly.
And so it may be for kids, but I'm telling you that I know their parents are reading this too, because it's that good.
Well, and it says for kids and those who will always be kids at heart. So it's for everyone. Everyone.
That's me.
I know. Yeah. I enjoy this.
I refuse to grow up, Beth. And you too, just a little bit. Because if you love working with kids, you can't get too stodgy.
No, and your mind always has to be thinking about what kids are going to enjoy. So you can't get, I like that word, stodgy.
Yeah. The kids like that word stodgy too. I bet you're all thinking of a stodgy teacher right now. Yeah. So do kids respond? Do you hear from kids?
They do. And one of their favorite aspects of the magazine, if I can show it, is the back, which is always a really fun daily holiday calendar. And so we've heard from multiple teachers that they use that calendar sometimes because I try to include really interesting random things, like I think we had National Gummy Bear Day, or things
There's
that
a National Gummy Bear Day?
There is. I
There you
know,
go.
a day to celebrate gummy bears, I guess. And there was like National Pickleball Day, and just very interesting,
find something
unusual.
for every day of the month?
Yeah,
Look at
believe
this.
it or not, there are websites out there that have those sorts of things.
Really? Look at this. The May edition is looking forward to June, so kids can get ready for this. Did you know that June the 10th is National Egg Roll Day? How awesome is that?
Yeah.
I believe I must, if it's not Sabbath, I must be going out for egg rolls that day.
Yes. Well, I put Happy Sabbath on each of the days for
I
Happy
see the
Sabbath,
Happy
so
Sabbath.
you absolutely know which day is Sabbath
We're
on the
good.
calendar.
We're a Wednesday for National Egg Roll Day, and International Falafel Day is on the 12th. Just got to get out there before sundown. Okay, that's super cool. Now, what do you look for? As you're putting this together, your job is to supervise this and make sure that I am impressed. I'm 10 months into the Adventist Review as an employee, and this is one of my favorite things here. I always read it. It's high quality. You do a brilliant job with this. How does that process work for you? How do you put this together?
Sure. So I have a template that I use where I make sure that each issue we have a story that is mission-oriented on witnessing or how children can, reach their neighbors or their friends at school. I really like to promote mission-oriented things for our kids. I always try to have, it kind of does a rotation, but I always try to have either a STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Brilliant.
So that teachers who use it in the classroom can just kind of use this as a resource if they are short on time and they're like, I need an experiment. So I try to include something like that. I'm adding in a health corner so that kids can read about something that is important to them.
Right. It goes beyond eat your vegetables, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. I always have a couple of feature stories. My designer, Merle Poyer, who has been with the magazine since the very beginning.
No, that's 1849. Merle, I know you're watching. We know you haven't been here since 1849.
No.
But the beginning of KidsView.
The very beginning of KidsView, yeah. And I mean, it's gone through so many changes, but she's really adapted with the times, and I just love her. She brings so much creativity.
Yeah, Merle's good at what she does. Yeah, for sure.
But anyway, I work with Merle, and she creates a maze or some other puzzle or something active for the kids. So it's very interactive. I always try to have something like a nature nugget or a career focus so that kids can look ahead to the future and see, is this something that God wants me to do, because they see other people featured in the magazine. And then we have partners that we work with who provide content. So we work with the White Estate, who provides Adventist history and Ellen G. White stories.
There have been some great stories
There
about
have
Ellen White
been that I wasn't familiar with, so I actually learn while I'm reading. And then we also partner with It Is Written and My Place with Jesus, and Melissa Bradshaw provides a story each issue. So it's really fun. I like working with it. I like working with all of our partners, and they share the same vision.
So do people submit stories? I mean, I'm imagining maybe someone out there is like, you got a burden. I write for kids. And typically the review gets far more submissions than we can handle in a lot of areas. Not everything that people submit, fits the theme of the month or whatever.
Sure.
But if somebody, how do submissions work? Can people send you, I think of a great story and I want to send it to Beth Thomas, and you'll feel obliged to print mine because otherwise I'll get on TV and complain. But other than that, how do submissions work? Do people contribute, or do you have to solicit everything?
No, absolutely. I've received a lot of submissions from people, and especially I love to receive submissions from kids. So
you have kids writing?
I do have kids writing. In fact, I have some working on something for me right now. So
brilliant.
I always love to feature kid writers. So
No
I mean,
kidding.
you don't
And I
have
bet
to
kids like that too.
Yeah, well, they get to see their name in print. Their friends get to read it. It goes to over 16,000 student subscribers, and then the subscribers that are in the Adventist Review as well. So there's a lot of people that read the content, but absolutely, we love to feature true stories, mission stories, answer to prayer stories. So if someone wants to submit a story like that, I have the writer's guidelines on the website, which is KidsView.com.
KidsView.com.
And it delineates like everything that I need to know about the person.
But generally speaking, what kinds of things are you looking for? Obviously, you're not looking for 2,500 word treatises.
No.
Right? You're looking for what's the general guideline? I'm sure people will go to KidsView.com and look at the submission guidelines requirements. But generally speaking, what are you looking for?
Yeah, I'm looking for true to life stories that are actually written by a person.
Yeah.
We don't want
no AI people.
we prefer no AI submissions. I'm looking for, yes, true stories. I'm looking for answers to prayer. I'm looking for miracle stories. I'm looking for anything that is going to encourage children in their walk with Jesus, to uplift, to support the mission of the church, and that is going to enhance their identity as a Seventh-day Adventist. So I need about 500 words per page.
Okay.
If they're going to do a 2-page, it needs to be a little less than 1,000 words for design
Yeah,
purposes.
because obviously there are pictures in a KidsView magazine, and so you don't fill every page up.
Right.
It's for children.
It is for children.
And we like the visuals. And the visuals are always very good. Oh, look at this. You just finish the show for me, would you? Because I'm going to read this. This looks so good. I heard you mention teachers a moment ago. Teachers are using this in classrooms?
Teachers are using it. They're using it as part of their language arts curriculum. I mean, they can use it in their science class if they want. I don't go too far into math because that's not my strong point, but there are a lot of things that they can use. They use it sometimes for outreach projects. We had one teacher write in, and because of the calendar, they noticed that that time of year there was something about a mitten tree or something. So she took that idea for an outreach project for her class, and they began to collect things for the homeless.
Oh, and that's what I was curious.
Yeah.
What is a mitten tree?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm new to America, folks. Like, maybe you grow mittens here. I don't know.
No, I don't think that's a typical
but
thing.
they're collecting clothes for the...
Yeah, they were collecting cold weather clothes, and then they took a picture, they sent it to me, they wrote a little article about it, and the kids loved it.
So it's starting to sound like there's a little community around KidsView.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I like that. So here's the other one that I'm wondering about. You know, I don't do it anymore because I get terrified of doing children's story at church. I break into a cold sweat. Somehow 5-year-olds are more intimidating than 3,000 atheists in a hall. You know, it's like, oh no, I don't.
Because they say what they mean.
Oh, they do, and they're the YouTube age. And I remember getting invited to a kindergarten class, and they're all cynical. Their arms are folded. We've seen better online. It's like, oh no, I just died 1,000 deaths. But if I were doing kids' story at church, Children's Corner, I think I would draw from this. Do you have people that are just saying, I'm going to use this story in church?
I do. In fact, I do it quite often.
Well, you've already worked on it.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm like, that would be a perfect story. So yes, we have had people definitely use that as a resource for children's story. And actually online at KidsView.com and at AdventistReview.org, we have a Kids Corner on AdventistReview.org, but at KidsView.com, we have archived stories that go back to 2017. So there is a plethora of things for people to choose from if they would like to tell a story using these resources. And that's another very cool aspect of this.
So you've got teachers using it in a classroom setting. You've got people using it for children's story, which I absolutely would. Are there other instances of how groups might be using this? Or
Sure. I would recommend using it for an adventure club. You could use it for a Sabbath school, you know, as a additional supplement to what they're getting with their usual Sabbath school magazine. I mean, this could be used in that way. So a grandparent, not a grandchild, I mean, they would read it from a grandparent, but a grandparent can order it for their kids.
I think there's still something to getting an actual magazine as a child. I know we're in the online age, but folks, screens are not helping our children a whole lot. They're just not. When I was a kid, somebody subscribed me to a magazine. It was National Geographic for Kids or something like that. And I could not wait for my magazine with my name on it to come in the mail. And I have to believe that there's still something with that with children. This is mine and it came for me.
Absolutely. No, I agree. And it's kind of fun. We get feedback on the puzzles and things, so we know adults are doing it. And I've gotten a couple of calls that say, this is really hard. Why can't you make it easier? But it's
Give it
fun
back to your 4-year-old. They'll solve it.
It's fun to give the kids a challenge, you know. But yeah, no, there are lots of different ways this magazine can be used. And
any favorite stories over the time that you've been sort of supervising this?
Oh boy.
Things that kind of stand out, like a favorite article, a favorite story, a favorite response from a kid?
Yeah, that's a really hard question because since 2023, when I first started working, no offense to all the other editors, there's only been a few. Since the inception of the magazine, there was Benita Shields, Kim Moran, Merle Boyer, who's my designer, and Wilona Karamabadi. Like, I stand on the shoulders of some amazing people. But every issue since I started has been my favorite. Like, I look forward to Merle sending it to me and what she's been able to do and the bright colors and just, I like this issue. I like that story, The Elephant That Cried, but I'm not going to give that away. Let me see here. One thing I've been doing lately, because I think a lot of people now aren't familiar with the stories that happened back in 2022, is I've been going through the archives and choosing some stories. So I did choose a story from the archives for this issue, and this is the peanut butter sandwich miracle. This is from the archives. And it's always fun just going back and looking at those old stories and seeing how God worked and how people are, still invested in things. So this was a good story, the peanut butter sandwich miracle.
So as you look across the landscape of the world children live in today, is there anything you're worried about with kids in general and that maybe KidsView is a potential partial solution for?
Sure. There's so many things to draw kids away now from the faith. They're constantly, I look around me, I see kids on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, and there are so many things that are bright and shiny and want to really draw our kids away. And I think if they have a resource like this that's specifically targeted for them, that really approaches their identity as a Christian and a Seventh-day Adventist, and really is fun, maybe it will be something that will direct their attention to something other and actually get into reading to something other than a screen. But that is really,
amen.
That is really
I'm 100% on board. I don't think social media and screens have done children any favors, and I'm very thankful that God has put you in this position, because KidsView is an amazing, amazing resource. And if you want to get KidsView, go to kidsview.com.
Yes.
Kidsview.com or AdventistReview.org. You can find all of our resources there, and get this for the kids that are in your life. It's so much better than the other stuff the world's trying to feed them. Thanks for joining me. I've been with Beth Thomas. I'm Shawn Boonstra, and you've been watching Unscripted.
Thanks for joining us today for Unscripted. We invite you to check out all the other offerings from the Adventist Review online 24 hours a day at AdventistReview.org.